See, jokers wildly plant seeds for trees to bear fruit, but with no nurture and direction, what grows is weeds that will choke the life out of the garden. Pardon, but most of our children are in jails because we have simply forgotten how to farm. The only thing I could say to them is, I see where you're coming from, but I have a father who I've never seen either. He goes by the name of Jehovah Jireh, Rapha, and Nisi. He pulled time out of his back pocket and handcrafted reality in a dark room by himself, singing, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it breathe into my nostrils, and I became a living soul. And I am reminded in every breath that the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Ask Isaac Newton and the father of Jacob. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. My papa wasn't a rolling stone, but had a stone rolled away because the grave couldn't contain his bones. I'm your brother. Come home. Daddy loves you." Awesome. So my name is Sean. Welcome. I am a spoken word poet. It's all good. Don't pay attention to the plate. Just stay here with me. I'm a spoken word poet. Has transitioned into professional speaking, but I speak and perform and teach spoken word poetry. I've hosted an open mic night in Orlando for 17 years every week, and that has helped strengthen my ability to communicate. I was fortunate enough to serve as the City of Orlando's official poet laureate for the past 4 years, 21 to 25. And throughout all of that journey, I'm also human. I'm also like a father, and a dad and a husband and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to give context before we get into our conversation today about the poem that I wrote. So I wrote that back, the Daddy Loves You poem that you just heard. I wrote that back in 2009. And the reason I wrote that poem was to encourage young boys who might have grown up without a father figure in their life, and basically say, like, you got a daddy in heaven, you know what I mean? Like, just try to change the perspective so that they're not like bogged down by that. And then in 2012, at the age of 29, I found out that the person I thought was my dad was not my biological dad. And everything that I thought about reality was like upside down. So the backstory to that is the dad that I grew up knowing as my dad found out I was not biologically his when I was 5. He didn't know how to communicate that to me. My mother knew that I was somebody else's child, but was terrified to share that with the person who had already accepted me as his son. And so I kind of grew up co-parented in that regard. My biological father didn't know that my mother was pregnant at all. So I was a complete surprise to him when I met him for the first time at the age of 32. Very long conversation, right? And the dad that I grew up knowing as my dad and my biological father met each other for the first time in 2017 at my college graduation. Go Knights, charge on, you know what I'm saying? Bringing people together, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But lunch afterwards was very awkward. All parties involved, you know what I mean? I'll be like, "Dad," and then they both look, and I was like, okay, I gotta call one of y'all by your first name, you know what I'm saying? Like, forgive me. But I have great relationships with my biological dad, the dad I grew up knowing as my dad, who was around, and my mother as well. Like, I feel like in a paradoxical way, finding out as an adult about the reality of my situation was helpful because I guess I was maybe mature enough to kind of navigate some of the nuance and the emotional terrain of those like conversations and stuff like that. And so I'm very fortunate. Fast forward into my own situation. So that's the past, but like in the future, I mentioned earlier I was a husband. So my wife was a teen mom. She had 2 children before we got together, and those kids became my bonus kids. And then we had 3 more children together. So we have a blended family of 5. lots of jumping through hoops to get here tonight because she's out of town. And for the single dads in the room, like, you know what that might, feel like. But I feel like through my experience growing up with somewhat identity issues, feeling like, the oddball or somebody who didn't belong, and also trying to understand or extract from the world what I believe is healthy as a father to pass on to my own kids has been something that is, it's ongoing, right? Like you keep growing and evolving. And so the ages of my children are 27, 24, 12, 10, and my daughter turned 4 yesterday. Happy birthday, 4-year-old, whatever. But anyway, I share that just to demonstrate in a way a little bit of vulnerability, a little bit of just some transparency, because I think there's something about the value of storytelling, especially amongst men, amongst fathers. I know there's some women in here, but specifically about fathers. We usually don't have a concentrated space like this to be able to express our own views about fatherhood, because we pull from so many different sources and have our own social locations, and there's so many things that inform how we parent, right? And so hopefully we have some conversations today where we can learn from each other, have another perspective, an additional perspective, something to give to somebody else who might have a question in their mind or not have the same experience that you had, and we grow together as fathers in that regard. Cool? All right, so I'm gonna share one more story, and then I'm gonna pass it on to the organizers of this event here. So this is pretty interesting. Well, at least I thought it was funny. So a couple days ago, I did a keynote out at UCF for the Learning Institute for Elders. This is maybe like 300 senior citizens in a room. They bring in a guest speaker once every month or something like that. And I was sharing a story with them about how I was out of a job one time. This is back in 2005. And as many of, everyone in here, girlfriends can be expensive. And I had one of those at the time. And I was like, out of work, out of money, like, man, I'm trying to do something. So I get the bright idea of signing up for one of the day labor spots. Y'all know Labor Ready? Y'all familiar with Labor Ready? Right. So I sign up for Labor Ready. And for those who are not familiar with that, that is a place where you can get a job and they'll pay you the same day or the same week, right? But the caveat is you don't know exactly what you're gonna get. And so they sent me and this other dude out to the UCF football stadium, and they hand us these big tote bags, and the site supervisor says, I want you to start at the top of the stadium, So I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm really confused. And then I asked him like what he's mean, and he tells us to look inside the tote bags, and there are these number stickers, right? So my job was to go in the stadium, row by row, take out my number sticker and label the seats, like 1, 2, 3, in the back, so that people with UCF football tickets can identify the seat that they have to go to, right? So you're like, oh yeah, somebody do got to put the numbers on the thing, you know what I mean? So I did that, man. It was like 6 hours in the heat, and the check that I got afterwards, I was like, this is not the business, right? This is not working. And that experience inspired this poem that I'm gonna perform, and then I'm gonna hand it over to our organizers. But I wanted to bring that story up in addition to this poem because it is talking about alignment and purpose and doing what you feel called to do or what you feel you're most outfitted to do, and like really pursuing that. Because I think even those situations bleed into how we raise our families, how we self-identify, our self-worth, and that kind of thing. And so anyway, had that experience. This is the poem I wrote afterwards, and then I'll stop. there, all right? So give me some energy and I'll give it right back. Give me some energy, give me some energy, I'll give it right back. I promise, I appreciate y'all. There we go. Not working feels like your 8-year-old princess pride commits suicide. 11-year-old dignity's digging her own grave, and it smells like fumes from spoiled rice and meat because no one showed up at the wake. You wake up and have to make a decision between doing something you have no desire for or going penniless for the day, trying to convince some institution to pay you as much as they do hospitals because poetry saves lives. What do you do when there's no degrees for a mastered art form, but the degrees in that art form can warm the temperature of hearts across a continent? What do you do? Not working feels like at 60 miles an hour, your belt busted on the freeway, you're revving your red car in neutral. Everyone hears you, but you're not moving any faster. When you can't look your girlfriend or your father in the face without feeling like a failure because your life savings is in a memory bank. Blindfolded, it feels like walking a plank. Samurai sword at the base of your spine, and I never learned to swim. What do you do? Read the sign. Labor ready. Work today, pay today. 6 hours for $35.28. Are you serious? Slavery comes with W-2s now. Hate to say that I went back, but back to the present, the phone call. Hello? Yeah, no work for tomorrow. And I don't know whether to smile or to stress, curse or to bless. Divine gifts don't come with instructions. I've learned I have to flip through the pages of Emmanuel, God with us. The litmus test for success is in the hull of a ship, in the pupil of a storm. I think I'm qualified, but anyway, here's my spoken resume. High school diploma, misdemeanor, AA degree from Valencia, one too many speeding tickets, a killer poetry family, a couple of clippings in the paper for credibility, a passion for teaching, reading, writing, speaking, listening, learning, and reaching the youth to keep burning fire in their bellies with glass skin for the world to see. Poetry's the world to me. Hire me, and I apologize for the unexpected interview, but what do you do when you can't look your girlfriend or your father in the face without feeling like a failure because your life savings is in a memory bank? Blindfolded, it feels like walking a plank. Samurai sword at the base of your spine, and I never learned to swim, but I would rather drown spitting lifesavers than to do this world a disservice by pushing star shapes into square openings. It doesn't fit, and I refuse to force it. This is not working, and I know I don't have a family yet, but my princess pride is like 8. Dignity's 11, and ambition just turned 13 today. Happy birthday, son. My children must eat, and I must live. Sophocles says that a man without happiness is not alive. Call him a breathing corpse. With that said, I made my decision. God is my witness. I'm gonna live for a living. All right. So I hope I woke you up a little bit this evening. I appreciate everyone taking time out of their day and found it valuable to invest in spending time here at this event. At this time, I want to introduce our leaders for Connecting Fathers, Connected Families, CFCF. Brandy Hannah, can you make your way to the stage? Come on, clap it up for Brandy, y'all. Come on, she's working hard. We got Eddie out here. Come on, show your love for Eddie Banks. Antoine Johnson, come on, show some love for Antoine Johnson. And Anna, where's Anna? There she is. Come on, y'all show Anna some love. I'm gonna hand the mic over and they're gonna just tell you a little bit more about the purpose of this program.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for coming out. I'm gonna make this real brief so that we can get into the rest of our program. But again, my name is Brandy Hannah, founder and executive director of Cornerstone Connections. So that is heading this program. We actually have a combination of 5 different programs across 8 counties. Right now, you'll get to hear a little bit about that later, but I want to introduce the rest of my Connecting Fathers staff.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Antoine Johnson. I want to say thank you for coming out. You guys look amazing. Glad that you are here, and we are getting ready for an amazing conversation, an engaging conversation. Just the intro for right now, and we tell you about what we do a little later.
Eddie Banks, father support specialist. Glad to see you all.
Hello, I'm Anna. I am the program assistant. So if you need any information, you want any information from me at the end of the show, please come see me.
And I am the program manager. I apologize. I'm just ready to get into the conversation with you guys. That's all.
All right, let's show love for our organizers. Really appreciate that. So tonight is really about listening, sharing, celebrating fatherhood. This is a space where fathers' voices are heard, stories are honored, and communities are strengthened. And I feel like, you know, for those who took the time to come here, like it's going to be a good conversation because it already says something about the quality of people in the room, that you value fatherhood. You're willing to not only share, but listen to other people's experiences. And my job will be to just facilitate a conversation. So I'm gonna kick it off with just a quick icebreaker here. This icebreaker is just about what you've learned so far. How many fathers do we have actually in the room? That's all right. All right, cool. All right, so the question is, fatherhood taught me, and then you fill in the space. Fatherhood taught me. It could be one thing, could be two things, but I want you to turn to your neighbor. I know the ladies can't participate, but maybe if you're a lady in the room, something that you learned from your father, maybe, right, that you can share. But the idea is to just fill in the blank. Fatherhood taught me what? All right, so let's think about some of the things that you've learned from your experience as a father, and we'll just keep open space for that as our icebreaker, all right? Where's the music? Brother Antoine, hit us with some music, man. Conversation music. Fatherhood taught me, fill in the blank. Go. Come on, show some love for Antoine Johnson. And Anna, where's Anna? There she is. Come on, y'all show Anna some love. I'm gonna hand the mic over and they're gonna just tell you a little bit more about the purpose of this program.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for coming out. I'm gonna make this real brief so that we can get into the rest of our program. But again, my name is Brandy Hanna, founder and executive director of Cornerstone Connections. So that is heading this program. We actually have a combination of 5 different programs across 8 counties. Right now, you'll get to hear a little bit about that later, but I want to introduce the rest of my Connecting Fathers staff.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Antoine Johnson. I want to say thank you for coming out. You guys look amazing. Glad that you are here, and we are getting ready for an amazing conversation, an engaging conversation. Just the intro for right now, and we tell you about what we do a little later.
Eddie Banks, father support specialist. Glad to see you all.
Hello, I'm Anna. I am the program assistant. So if you need any information, you want any information from me at the end of the show, please come see me.
And I am the program manager. I apologize. I'm just ready to get into the conversation with you guys. That's all.
All right, let's show love for our organizers. Really appreciate that. So tonight is really about listening, sharing, celebrating fatherhood. This is a space where fathers' voices are heard, stories are honored, and communities are strengthened. And I feel like, you know, for those who took the time to come here, like it's going to be a good conversation because it already says something about the quality of people in the room, that you value fatherhood. You're willing to not only share, but listen to other people's experiences. And my job will be to just facilitate a conversation. So I'm gonna kick it off with just a quick icebreaker here. This icebreaker is just about what you've learned so far. How many fathers do we have actually in the room? That's all right. All right, cool. All right, so the question is, fatherhood taught me, and then you fill in the space. Fatherhood taught me. It could be one thing, could be two things, but I want you to turn to your neighbor. I know the ladies can't participate, but maybe if you're a lady in the room, something that you learned from your father, maybe, right, that you can share. But the idea is to just fill in the blank. Fatherhood taught me what? All right, so let's think about some of the things that you've learned from your experience as a father, and we'll just keep open space for that as our icebreaker, all right? Where's the music? Brother Antoine, hit us with some music, man. Conversation music. Fatherhood taught me, fill in the blank. Go. Ladies, y'all can't talk to each other, okay? Can't talk to each other. You gotta link up with somebody. All right, I hope your conversations were fruitful. I see some of them still carrying on, but if we have one or two or five brave souls to share at least one of the things that fatherhood taught them, this is just a learning space, a perspective space. So let me know and I'll pass the mic. Oh, y'all let the ladies beat y'all, man. Come on. What's wrong with this outfit with you? Go ahead, sis.
I'm going to share. I sat over here with three fathers, and they all agreed and said the same thing, patience.
Patience. That was my man over here, right? Patience. All right, cool. Anyone else? Oh.
Fatherhood taught me masculinity. 100%.
Okay, masculinity. Good deal. All right, anyone in the back? Yep. And if you want to unpack some of these answers to give like some reasoning behind why you said what you said, that's fair too.
Fatherhood has taught me emotional intelligence, because as being a boy, you don't know how to regulate your emotions. But when you become a man learns how to regulate those emotions.
Good deal. All right, fatherhood taught him how to like regulate, not just pop off. Kids will do that to you, right? Anyone else have a perspective that they want to share from their own experience? Going up, got a brother over here. Yes, sir.
Well, as a young man, I was extremely irresponsible. And children, my kids taught me responsibility. And watching them grow up as responsible adults, I'm very proud of that.
Very good. Responsibility. Yep, I was sharing with the gentleman here, gosh, I forget your name, I'm so sorry, Andy, that for me it was recognizing how much influence I had. You know, I didn't like really realize that, because when I was single, you know, ain't nobody like really stunting you like that, you know. But then, you know, I remember being at the park with my son one day, and I had an A shirt on, and I was sitting on a bench, and I remember him looking over at my armpit hair, and then he looked at his arm, and then he looked at mine, you know, and it was like this awareness, like everything I am and that I say, he's absorbing and taking cues of like, oh, this is how to be a man or whatever. And I had a Heineken, I was driving, I had a Heineken in the car one time. I was drinking, and then it was like the way that he looked, he was 7 at the time, but the way he looked at me, I was like, oh, pour this out right here. But yeah, I think for me, it was like the awareness that I'm having influence on someone. That was one of the things that fatherhood taught me. Go ahead, brother.
All right, for me, it was motivation. I was motivated because now I'm living for children. So I can't give up. I have to keep on going, I have to keep fighting. So until today, you know, my youngest is 15, oldest 22, and I still feel so motivated because they just believe in me so much, you know. So it's like I can do anything, you know. But there are moments when I need to plug in somewhere else just to recharge. And now I've become vulnerable with my oldest, where I can actually share with him, you know. But he still has this thing thinking that I'm a super guy. So yeah, so motivation is my word.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, sir.
My first experience, like recognizing my influence on my son, was taking him. I'm a soccer coach by profession, and taking him out, basically, taking him out to Orlando City games and being there with the professional players and all that. But that's just the intro. His mother asked him one time, "How did you know what country that flag was from?" At this time, my son is 5. And it came from watching World Cup soccer games and recognizing the flags and the country. So at 5 years old, and she didn't believe him, she tested him, and he got every flag out of 50 flags she called, every flag right. Some of the flags I didn't know, some of the flags she didn't know, so she had to look it up to see if he was right, and he was dead on. So that's when I realized what I do, what I say, how I move, he's watching everything to this day. He's 16 now.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes, sir.
What was the question?
Fatherhood taught me. What did fatherhood teach you? Some insight from your own experience.
Personally, fatherhood taught me that I'm an extremely scared individual. And not because that, like, I don't believe in myself. However, I struggle with mainly and mostly having a son is my perspective and paradigms on what it means to be good versus knowing that life might not reward him for his goodness, and then deciding whether or not I want to teach my child on how to be a winner in life versus on how to be a good, functional, well-rounded human being. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, to be real.
Thanks for sharing that. So you learn a lot of things about yourself when you're faced with certain challenges in your own experience. So I'm going to transition here just a little bit. I want us to bring us to a place where we had a really positive memory about fatherhood. So I want us to think about a really proud fatherhood moment. A really proud fatherhood moment. It could be, he got his hand raised already. You're like, oh, I'm dope. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is, but it's like, it's unique to you being a father. Maybe it could be a Christmas situation. It could be a Thanksgiving. It could be something broke, and then you're like, I'm trying to figure it out, and then it worked, and everybody, just some kind of positive fatherhood experience. Yeah, Eddie, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
I'm gonna stand up when I say this. One of the proudest fatherhood moments I had when I was pledging Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I look around and my son walked through the thing he was pledging and followed directly in my footsteps. With every organization I joined, he joined. I gave him a pair of shoes. Same one I had on, I gave him a pair of shoes. Kind of walking in my footsteps now. So proud as that moment.
All right, come on. I love it. All right, well, has anybody got a proud dad moment? Proud dad moment? Putting some feelers out there. You got one? Go ahead, brother.
And say your name too, so we kind of familiarize ourselves with each other.
So I'm Kyle, and I got a 3-year-old son, and he watched me work construction jobs a lot, so he likes to play in the dirt. Well, in front of my shed, he had like this whole little hole that he started digging to lay in it. You couldn't see him, like, all sorts of stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get him a sandbox. And as soon as he got back to my house, and he seen that he had his own sandbox, he continued to play with that from then on and stopped digging in front of my shed. That right there is a proud moment for me, because I was trying to think outside the box there. I did that.
Love it. Thanks for sharing, Kyle. Anybody else? You got a proud dad moment? All right, hold on. I saw you back there.
Dr. Vibert Issa White. It's a father-son-father moment. A few years ago, my father died. And about 6 weeks before he died, I was talking to him. And I said, Dad, are you afraid? What do you think about this? And he said, no, we're from Costa Rica. We're not afraid of nothing. We're traveling. That's all what we're doing, we're traveling. And that was a very important moment for me because my father showed no fear. And that's the same thing that I taught my son, all two of them, to show no fear in the face of whatever the problems may be, the adversaries may be. And I think that's something that's very important. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, even in a passing situation, they're still teaching or communicating like, this is how you do this. This is the perspective that I'm applying to this. Anybody else? Proud father moment? Okay, you have one, Antoine.
So Antoine Johnson once again, and for me it's a little different. I have a little princess and she's only 2 months. So my proud father moment is our first day coming from the hospital and just doing a quick reflection to just know that I put everything in place for my baby girl to be good. So she has absolutely nothing to worry about and she would never have anything to worry about. So for me, it was just that immediate reflection, knowing that she's here, she's home, and she's safe, she's good. So I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot more coming up, but in the 2 months, yeah, that's it.
All right, anyone else? Proud dad moment. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Y'all working me out today.
Keeping you fit, that's all. My proud moment came when my son was in middle school, and as all parents do, we are pushing our kids to achieve more, be better than we were. And when he came home with his report card and he showed me that he made the honor roll, that was a very proud moment for me. And combining that with sports, I always told him you just can't depend on the sports to get you in college. You need that educational side. You need to know to read your own contracts and things. He wants to be a professional. You got to be able to count your own money. There's a lot of broke ex-professionals out there. So count your money, learn how to read and stuff. So when he came on with that honor roll, I was so happy that he finally got it. So, and he's still doing that to this day. So.
I realize for each one of these questions, I'm like, oh, I got one. So don't mind if I like jump in with my own story, but I had a proud dad moment. My 10-year-old, he was 9 at the time, he went to school at this early learning center, Westlake's Early Learning Center. It was like their first graduating class. And they brought alumni to celebrate their 5-year anniversary of this new early learning center, because it's 6 weeks to kindergarten, or 6 weeks to pre-K. And so they brought him as an older kid, alumni of this thing, and him and another young lady that was a part of the first graduating class spoke at a fundraiser. And so just to see my 9-year-old, obviously I'm a speaker, so similar to Eddie Banks, like, he pledged my fraternity. I'm like, my boy a speaker. You know, he's up there, welcome, thank you all, enjoy your lunch. I was like, he said enjoy your lunch. You know? But it was cool to see him have that confidence in front of a crowd, you know what I mean? So that was kind of a proud dad moment for me. Anyone else? Proud dad? Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, all right. Name and your proud dad moment.
Samuel Roberts. My son is a little bit older than most. My son is 27, 28, no, 27. And the thing about it is that as 26? Oh, she's testing me. Anyway, it's like as every day goes by, you're seeing more and more of yourself in your son. And it's the little things. I mean, it's the petty little things that are of no importance. But every day being around my son is like, I smile at myself because I'm like, I used to do that shit. You know, it's like, or whatever it is, it's like the little things that he does. And it's like spending time with him becomes like that real, because you're seeing yourself in every act that he's, not every act, but a lot of the things he does. Only the good things, yeah, you know. But on a daily experience, you're seeing things with him that you're like, yes, that's a proud dad moment, you know, continuously throughout, so.
That's awesome. And we can always come back if you thought of something. If we move on and you thought of something that you wanted to say, feel free to add that commentary. But go ahead, brother.
So it's a lot of stories about men and their sons, but the same thing can be reflected in a daughter. Often with more veracity. So if you've ever been to, how many have been to Africa? Do we have hands up? You have to go. I took my daughter to Senegal, to a place called the Gorée Island. There's only 2 places in Africa where you can go right now and see the physical manifestation of where your ancestors were shipped from, Ghana and Senegal. And in each one of those, they have forts or castles, and Senegal's a fort. And there's an area where you go in and you look, and it's called the Door of No Return. That is where we left and we never returned to. And so I said to her, we're here. And I said, this is your moment of reclamation, because every ill that you suffer from as a black woman in this country is connected to this transatlantic experience, whether you realize it or not, whether it's misogyny, whether it's violence, whether it's colorism, whatever it is, we can find that strand. So I said, your job is to go through the door and then return back in and reclaim your ancestors. And there is no distinction between a reclamation of ancestors and being in unity with one God. We just don't understand that because of how we've been educated. So to watch my daughter break down in tears as she was in the castle where her ancestors were shipped from, frozen, she was frozen, and the spirit hit her, and the ancestors were present, and to see her walk through and return for those millions that could never do it was a powerful moment for me to have with her as a father.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Awesome. This journey does not come with a neatly packaged handbook. This is how you parent. This is how you father, right? We have different social locations, different family dynamics. There's a range of those. Some of us have more access to our children than others, right? And that informs the ways in which we engage, right? And so knowing that there is not necessarily a specific manual, right? That's very obvious. Who supports you as a father, and why is that important? I'm gonna go a little deeper here. Who supports you? Where do you draw your strength from as you pour out? What fills your cup as you daily move into this space of parenting? So we'll just have some commentary around that over the next few minutes.
My name is Kevin Bullard. I'm here representing Hungry Lives Matter. My proud moment was with my daughter, because I have lived a real rocky life. In and out of prison, 14 years in prison, overcoming child support, overcoming probation, overcoming, just overcoming myself. So the proud moment I'm getting to is my daughter. She said, I just got out of federal prison in 2014. It's 2025 now. Since then, I have overcome probation, overcame myself. I have started a nonprofit organization where I buy to feed the homeless, and also I am a licensed contractor now. Just signed a major contract. So the reason I'm saying all this, I really don't want to go too deep into my past, but that proud moment is for my daughter, for me to leave my daughter at 6, and then for when I come back home from prison, she said, Dad, the first night you was home, I was scared of you. I slept with my door unlocked. That's hard to hear your daughter say, I had to sleep with my door unlocked because she didn't know the man that fathered her. And so I'm like, whoa. So I had to change all this persona, this perspective of how people looked at me, especially my children, because I have a son and a daughter. My daughter, she listened to me. My son, I influenced him in the wrong direction in life. And right now, he's doing prison time right now because I was not a great father. But to fast forward that, I'm chopping down those trees that grown up, that I consider myself as this individual that was untouchable in the streets. But after those last 7 years of going in prison at 41 and coming home at 48, that's hard on a black man. That's hard on anybody. I worked at the labor pool. I know about that labor pool, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. But guess what? I got a purpose in life because I want to influence this younger generation that stay out of that jailhouse, stay out of the courthouse, because there's more to life than what we see, what was sold to us through the rappers. That's who sent me to prison. I wanted to be that gangster. I was that gangster, but guess what? If I had a mentor, if I had a program where I could have came and connected with other black men, instead of the dope men, instead of the gangsters, I would have went in a total different direction. Because I have so much on the inside of me. Because if I could come out of prison, start a nonprofit, start my own business, like ain't nothing ever happened, I can just imagine how I would have lived my life had I had the right proper training. So my proud moment is my daughter, after 11 years, my daughter said, Dad, I'm so proud of you. And to hear her say that she's proud of me, and for to hear my mother say that she's proud of me, this tells me I have a lot more work to do. Because if I can accomplish that in 10 years, I will not can accomplish in another 20, 30 years. So, fathers, we are a big influence on our children. They watch us. So the life that we live, they will mimic it if they're not taught in the right direction.
Thank you for sharing. So you mentioned something really, really important about community and how community would have kind of helped to offset some of the would identify as like negative decisions and stuff like that. So this is, I think, a testament to this program as well, right? Go ahead, Rick. You want to share?
I find the question to be very, very interesting because it doesn't seem like there are many organizations or institutions to support black fathers. I raised 3 children on my own. Alhamdulillah, one is a civil engineer, the other one is a bioengineer, the other one is a nuclear engineer. But when I was looking for help and when I was craving support, there wasn't no one out there. All right, not the church, definitely not the governmental institutions, and even sometimes not even your closest friends. Of course, you have some places like in Chicago where I moved from, like the Nation of Islam. They have organizations that help. But for the most part, The question is interesting because, again, there are not a lot of places to support black fathers. And I'm not just talking about going there and say, may God help you. We're talking about real infrastructure, all right? When the brother was talking about he had to go into the prison system because he did not have mentors. Well, we have to look at the fact, in reality, the destruction of the black man has taken place in the last 60 to 80 years. So there aren't any mentors. Just pick and choose. So therefore, we have to create a new narrative to teach young men how to be black fathers. And I know we have a lot of sisters, and I appreciate all the work the sisters have done, but sisters cannot teach a boy how to be a man. We have to be real about that. Because like I can't teach my daughter how to be a mother, or a wife, or a woman. It's just a point of interest.
Thank you.
So he just spoke about there's not a lot of organizations to help the black man. I found the same thing when I was ready to ask questions, when I wanted information on how to be accountable, right? Because I think that's a lot of the stigma, a lot of what's going on in our community, is we don't know how to be accountable. We want to be accountable, but we just don't know how. So my name is Greg Hill. I am the co-founder and the creator of Our Children Have Rights, where the mission is to protect children's rights to have access to both parents equally by providing co-parenting resources. And so the way that we do that, there's three things that I focus on. One is education. We don't know, and nobody's telling us, right? And so we're just trying to figure it out. And so I was able to educate myself and go represent myself in the courts. And so, short of my story, I didn't want to talk too much now. I didn't want to hijack it. Now you got me started. It's his fault. I blame him. So short of my story, right? I was in New York working, height of life, feeling invincible. And then I get those words, okay, we're pregnant. So we go through the process, and I buy a house closer to mom to help with our son. 3 weeks before he was born, mom moved to Florida. So I came to Florida to protect his rights to have access to me. Had no idea what I was doing. This goes back to the resources that we need, because we have questions and we want to figure this thing out, but we don't know how, right? So I come down and say, I do what everybody else does, right? Get a lawyer, the lawyer will help. Okay. So I go through mediation. The lawyer agreed with the other party. So now I come out of mediation in order to pay $1,141 a month for a son that has no access to me. All because I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no information, I have no resource. So I go home, and for about 3 months, I drink a bottle of liquor a day, feeling as if I failed this young man as a father. Then the light bulb goes off. If I'm gonna do it, I'll do it my way. I fire everybody. I started reading, researching, finding out the information that I needed to be accountable. What are they saying to me? Right? I have this document where I got this crazy order, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So I go read and research, find the information for myself. I go back to the court, represent myself. Second time around now, my son has 50-50 access to me. And now the child support has dropped down from $1,141 down to $124. All with just the information with the resource, right? And so here's the proud dad moment. Proud dad moment. So now I'm feeling elated as if I won. Light bulb goes off again. There are other people out here who have the same issue. They want to be accountable, they just don't know how. So I start writing. So I write the book, Our Children Have Rights. You can find it on Amazon. I'm not gonna plug too much, but you can find it on Amazon. Proud dad moment here. So my father's name is on the front of that book. My name's not on the front of that book, Proud Dad moment. He has something that lives on through time. You can never take that away from him. His name lives on. My son wrote a poem to me on Father's Day. The foreword in the book is a response to the poem that my son wrote on Father's Day. go a little further. My brother had custody issue. I helped him get his children back. But my brother's case is in the book. You can read it. It's about the VDOP or the AOP. We gotta educate ourselves, gentlemen. The Voluntary Declaration of Parents is powerful too. You want to? I can talk to you about that one. But that's in the book. My other brother illustrated the book, all the artwork in the book. So we have a book for all the fathers and the men in my family. That's the Proud Dad moment.
Thank you for sharing. Awesome. And I imagine all of the things that you went through in that situation prepared you to be a resource, right? And that's kind of goes back to the question is like, you know, identifying as we pour out what pours into us, right? If there's no network, are there practices that help ground you, that fill your cup, that you know, to help you to move forward? And then also the second part of that question is, why are spaces like this important, right? I think it's difficult to answer that question without understanding the why it's important in the first place. So if anyone could speak into that, I think that would be really helpful. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Terrence Jones. I've been a part of the fatherhood program for 12 weeks now. And to answer the first part of your question, the resources. Listen, Antoine and Eddie are they make themselves so accessible to us. And I'm not talking about 8 to 5, 9 to 6. I'm talking about late night, right? No matter what we're, what we're experiencing, what we're going through, we can pick up the phone and call. You're gonna get a response, right? And the reason spaces like this are so important is because we all come from different backgrounds. They have a book called 24/7 Dad. Can I say that? Listen, we study out of this book. And when I tell you, I'm 50 years old. There are some things in this book that I'm just like, how did I miss that, right? We talk about masculinity. We talk about things of how to deal with your kids in a certain way. We talk about how to deal with your kid's mother, you know, how to deal with the conflict. I think, and the reason I feel this space is very, very important, because there's a vulnerability. If y'all can ever witness our meetings, we're hugging, it's tears being fled, and things are shared that you wouldn't normally share with your homeboys, because, you know, you gotta be tough. But when we get here, when we're having that meeting on Tuesday, it's diabolical, the things that are shared, right? The vulnerability. I remember Eddie sent out an email, and he was sending out a link for one of the meetings that were like, 2 weeks ahead, right? Everybody was like, yo, we're not having our meeting tonight? Like, remember that? Like, we hitting them up like, yo, what's going on? We're not having our meeting. We got to wait till next week. That's the influence that spaces like this have on us. And as I said, we all come from different backgrounds, right? And we were all raised differently, but I want to share and give appreciation to Eddie and to Antoine, and for allowing us to be who we are, because we all know each other's children because of these meetings, right? Also, another thing that we're not Israel, right? That man right there. Listen, we share so much, and when we're in those meetings, it is so deep. If we show up to a meeting and somebody's not there, they'll tell you, we're about to put a search party out looking for you. And Eddie will tell you, like, oh, where's so-and-so, why aren't they here, right? And I just want to let y'all know that I'm very, very appreciative. Whatever route, they've taken, I have an IT background. This is why spaces like this are important, not just for fatherhood, but for manhood, period. I have an IT background. built out an AI agent. Did well. They did 12 weeks worth of work in 9 days. They loved it, pitched it to a client, the client loved it, then they replaced 127 of us with what we built. Right? So, bring that forward, I get with Eddie and Andrew. And I think when I got with you, I was at over 300 applications. I was, just submitting applications. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I don't know what part of the world Eddie's brain came from, but this man redid my resume. And I started getting calls. I was doing like 2 or 3 interviews a week. And but having that right there, right? Having him in our back pocket to help us, to let us know. And they're always encouraging us, no matter what you're going through. Because after 500 applications, after you get to 500, it's just like, it's very discouraging, right? And it's not because you're not qualified, but you're being told, dumb down your resume. Remove this, remove that. Nobody's gonna hire you. So guess what I did? I started my own IT automation, right? Because I was replaced with it, but I don't want it to replace people's jobs, right? But one of the things, even in that, we still get encouragement. You follow what I'm saying? Keep pursuing your dream of owning your own business. Keep putting in these jobs. We're gonna work with you. They dress us. I just want y'all, they dress us. Like they make sure we look good for the moments that we need to look good for, right? That's something that's very rare because they give. And I didn't mean to talk so long, but they give. It's a testimony for me, right? And like I said, 50 years old, outside of my dad, we didn't have this type of space. So it's very, very important for them.
We might have had an off-brand called the barbershop, but I don't know how productive that was. So we'll get to you in a second, but after your comment, I want us to think about, just in a cue, what do communities need to hear from fathers? What do communities need to hear from fathers? We do have a unique perspective and life experience, so I want to put you all in a position of informing the next generation of fathers, and if there are words of wisdom as a father that you can pass on, what would those words be as the next prompt, all right? But after this comment right here.
Hello. I ain't gonna hold you. I just want to say. Oh, my fault. Hold on, time out. Hi everyone, my name is Kiefer. I also go to dad class. Fatherhood program. It's been amazing. But truthfully though, one of the things that Terrence had touched on, and to piggyback off of what we were talking about previously, and giving individuals the opportunity to have fellowship and see individuals that they have some type of camaraderie with, and not on the fatherhood troubles issues type of side, but speaking to individuals and seeing the human side of them, and then also giving you the opportunity to help yourself, and the encouragement to, what's the word that I'm looking for? For lack of a better term, it's like I ain't gonna hold you, so it was like putting a battery in your back. Because sometimes you're depleted and you don't have it for yourself, so it's nice and it's kind of needed to have individuals that give you that breath of fresh air. And then another thing, some individuals might not be as lucky, like I'm extremely blessed and twice as lucky because being inside of the venue, but also I got you guys that can help me. But not only did I not recognize that I needed help, but I also wanted help, but I also didn't know how to communicate those type of things to individuals, because I don't got a standing reference point or an individual that also needed help out in front of my face that went through the process of finding help. So I don't know what you don't know. So I appreciate y'all for that as well.
Brother Andy.
Good night. My name is Andy King. And, you know, been listening to everybody talk about their perspective on fatherhood. I take a unique perspective or point of view with respect to raising children. I have a son that's 40 years old. My daughter is 33. And one of the things that I had to learn, because I grew up with parents that you were like their enemy, if you know what I mean. In my formative years, say age 10 to about 15, I was like the brightest kid in school. But I had this yearning to escape prison. I don't know if it was prison, and then I learned as I grew older, it wasn't their fault, it's all they knew. So all my parents knew. And so when I talk, I'm the oldest in the home in coming out of that marriage. And when I talk to my siblings now, who are all girls, and they complain to me that your dad was this, your mom was this, and I keep reminding, even today I had a conversation with one of my younger sisters, and I was telling her, that's all they knew. And if you know better, you do better. So with my children, I struggle because they're 7 years apart. So my son is older. And I wasn't, because of the experience growing up, I turned out not to be the traditional student. I just wanted to pass. If I get a C, if I get a B, whatever it is, so I went to college and all that just to graduate. And like, come Stefan, here's $50, buy what you want. Come Nicole, here's $50, buy what you want. And as they proceed out the door, I would call them back and say, here's another 50 because you're older. But I never let them know that there was a difference. I treated them equally in whatever task, whatever it is. The other point quickly that I wanted to make was that at 5 years old, be the best 5-year-old you can be. Don't try to be 10 or 15. And so that was a force of tutoring for me with them. Letting them enjoy each moment, each stage of their life. I remember the first time my brother called from Toronto and said, what is your kids doing for summer? And I was like, well, my son, he was into basketball camp. And my daughter, she's young, she's only 7. He said, so bring her up to Toronto. I couldn't make it. And my daughter said, Dad, I want to go. I want to see my cousins. And I struggled with it. But then I went on the computer and bought a ticket, took her to the airport, and have her travel around. So develop that confidence. And over the years, encourage them in that respect. Also, I tell you a story, a quick story. So my son was turning 13. And his mom said, he's gonna be 13. Saturday, I'm gonna have his friends come over to the house. They cook some food, they can play. He needs a sneaker. And I know he wanted to be a basketball player. So in my mind, Jordans. I don't have Jordan money at the time. This is way back, So the Saturday I picked him up and we jump in the car, we're heading to Florida Mall. And I'm like, so you have an idea what you want? Yes. So we got to Just for Feet. That's so far back. Just for Feet, we went in there and he's looking at me and I'm like, go ahead. It's your day, go ahead. And he walked in the store and his eyes fixed on the Jordans. Jordans were, back then, was $125. And I'm like, and I'm looking at the two $40 sneakers over here. And he's looking and I'm like, you gotta be strong. And you gotta show trust. There's gotta develop. So I said to him, have you decided? Yes, I said. So he's like, I said, show me what you want. And he pointed at the Jordans. And the salesperson came over and said, okay, I get it for you. I said, young man, hold on a second. So I called my son aside. I said, let me ask you a question. If you get those $125 pair of Jordans, you're gonna go to school with it? You're going to go to church with it. And if you got to go to the party, you're going to go with it. If you get two $40 sneakers, you can have one for school and one to go out. So I looked at him, and I had the money to pay. But I was teaching him, in my mind, a valuable. I said, which one do you want? And he looked at me, looked around, and he said, those two. And over time, I think those kind of relationships where you trust them to only, and again, I reflect on the words, that's all my parents knew. Similarly, with my children, I let them be the ones that bring whatever issues. If you have a problem, let's sit down and talk it out. Let's develop a source. So I think my role as a leader in the community, I've spoken, because I've heard my son speak at the Pentagon as a lead, because he's in the military. I've gone and seen him pass out in the officer training and stuff like that. And it gives you great pride to see that they conduct themselves the way. I'm sorry I took this long, but I had to get that off. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, it's all good. There's two things that I wanted to highlight from what Brother Andy was sharing. Was one, that he offered grace to his parents, and that's something that oftentimes, as we're socialized in the way that we grow up, we don't consider that component. And so offering grace, knowing that they came in with something that was handed to them to give to you, and whatever that was may not have been enough for you, right? And then we come into this. So there's grace, and then the other thing that you mentioned that I wanted to highlight was that as our children age, they require something different from us, right? So oftentimes fathers will see you as a 5-year-old, and then when you're 20, they still have thinking that you still 5, right? And it's like, nope, and so we as fathers need to evolve and be maybe more structured, and this is just salt, take it with a grain of salt, more structured for them, because they need that when they're younger, and be more of a mentor, a guide, as they get old, because they're coming into their own personhood, boy or girl, doesn't matter, right? So, but you mentioned those things, and I thought that was really important. Grace to your parents, and understanding that our children are at different stages and require something different from us. Antoine.
Yeah, just real quick, Sean. You asked a question earlier, and we didn't really get to it, but it's who supports you as a father? And I don't want to stick on it too much, but I'm an individual. I look at the very small things, because I believe the small things add up to the bigger picture. So who supports me as a father? I definitely want to say first my wife. I have an amazing wife, right? So shout out to all the women that's in the room, because you do matter as well. And you are a strong source and a strong resource. You're the person that a man can lean on at times, right? So even from another personal point of view, Gwinnett is here. Gwinnett, a lot of people know Gwinnett. Some people may not know Gwinnett. Gwinnett is like a second or third or fourth mother to me. It's like the smallest little things that she does, like it matters so much, and it helps me become a father. It helps me become a better father. I see the way how she interacts with Sam and how they raise their children, and even seeing that, it models to me how to be a great father, even on a more personal level, right? Eddie and I, we work together. Anna, shout outs to you. Anna has came into our program, and the things that Anna has been able to help us with, it makes me and Eddie and I's job so much simpler. So that helps us become a father, because there's a work-life balance at the end of the day. If we're stressed out with work, how are we going home, and how are we really dealing with our families and our children? Brandy's the one who founded this organization. So, just bringing up small little examples that I look at and the things that I take into consideration. And I just want to, give thanks to all the women that's actually in the room to let you know that you are a strong part and you do matter as well.
Thank you, Brother Antoine. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right, so I kind of debated getting up and walking out of here, but I'm going somewhere with this. Last Thursday I had my uniform on. My team was up, so we were doing MHF, Military Honors Funeral. And I'm going to come back to that moment. May 29, 2015, I suddenly became a single dad, and I did not get divorced. I spoke to her at 5:55 p.m. that evening. I was picking up the kids to come home to go for dinner with her, not knowing that was going to be the last conversation I would have ever had with their mom. So when you talk about support and who supports you, that felt the moment when we went home and we found her. She wasn't sick. She was as fit as they came. Went to medical school. She was into cardiology, so she was very fit. But she just went to sleep and just never woke back up. And I debated on bringing up that story, but you guys kept going to Proud Father's moment, who supports you, all that kind of stuff. And the Sunday after the Saturday was the funeral, was probably the loneliest Sunday when everybody went to the airport. And here I was with those kids looking on me, and I'm thinking, what do I do next? Because there's nothing that prepares a man for a moment like that. Now, if it was a gradual thing where she was sick, then somehow you would have prepared for it. But I never ever look on Fridays the same anymore. And every time, ever so often, when that hour comes around on a Friday evening, sometimes it will come back to me, So support is important because that's something I pretty much dealt with on my own. There are family members, but nobody's really understanding enough. And then you have, family members who will come and they'll say, oh, you need to move on. But how do you move on in that moment, So I say all of that to say this, that that motivated me to the point where I started, where we did, last Thursday, I served and I did that, because I realized that there are moments, and that's probably your lowest moment that you'll get in life, that you slept with somebody one night and the next day they're just gone, after so many years. But it's not something we think about. So I fast forward now to say all of this, that one, I live very intentionally now with my kids. I love very intentionally when I love, and I enjoy when I enjoy very intentionally. Because the more I serve and the more my team is up and we have to take a casket from a hearse and drape with a flag and we do our thing, is the more it reminds me that there's an end to the now. And how do I prepare my kids? How do I prepare my fellow fathers? Simple things like life insurance. So you disappear off the face of the earth and your kid is left. You have a 4-year-old that needs to go to college, mom working paycheck to paycheck, and there's nothing in play to support. So, didn't mean to bring the mood down. Honestly, I did not. And that's why I debated whether I walked out of here or I stayed. But these are real things that we have to grapple with. So my message to you as dads is love intentionally, live intentionally, laugh loud, and if you have a queen in your life, love her like you've never loved before.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your vulnerability. That was very valuable, a valuable story there. And I'll pass it on.
So I want to say to the brother that just spoke, you don't have to apologize for your truth. because any one of these men can be in that exact situation, and now they know who to come to. Now, your story is not just your story. And one of the unspoken things that we suffer from as black fathers is that we often get overlooked in terms of what our pain might be, right? So you shared a story of being a widow. So claim it, that's the term. I'm a widower too, and I claim it. I had to raise 2 girls on my own, and I claim it, right? And that's what gives you the power to know that you can continue. Now the question is, in that moment of darkness that you had, where did you go? Were there resources available? Was there someone to talk to? Nobody can understand that if they haven't been through it. It doesn't matter whether it happened overnight or they were sick. The loss is the loss. And so you know and I know the only thing you can do is cope. But there's one thing that has not been discussed since we've been here. And I don't care what your faith is, but what moved me through my pain was my belief in God, my faith. We got Muslim brothers here, we got Christian, we might have polytheists. All I can do is claim what my truth is. My truth is Jesus Christ, and Jesus helped move me through this way. But what also helped is that when you look at a child and you know there is no other safety net for them, that instinct has to come out to perform and to ensure that they have all the things they need to be successful in this life. So whether you have daughters or sons, what I wanted to say is having a house that is filled in faith, whatever your faith is extremely important. And we know that the moral precepts of the Abrahamic traditions have a similarity in the lineage between them, right? So that's the first thing. When I say that, I'm talking about Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. So a house full of faith, and really as men being deliberate in that. Sometimes we raise kids that are fast, and it's because we haven't given them the moral epicenter that they need. We haven't given them the discipline that they need. We haven't given them the guidance because we're not rightly guided, right? So you have to have a force greater than yourself to do that. The other thing, as black people, where we fail summarily, I've been a professor for 26 years. We don't teach our children their history. And in a state and at a place where the history of our people is under attack, you have to ask, why is that? Why don't they want us to learn the history of our own people? Because in that historical understanding is a freedom. Because when you know that other people have walked through what you're walking through and far worse, it gives you a certain strength. Malcolm X said that of all of our pursuits, history is best suited to reward our efforts. But somehow we fail and fail and fail in educating our kids. So I'll just give you one anecdote. Since my kids were old enough to write and read, twice a year they had to produce a Black History report for me. And it had to be footnoted properly, it had to be edited, and we went through several revisions of it. Because I wanted my girls to know the history of their people going forward. When you know the history of your people, and not just Black Americans, I'm talking about a global history. I'm talking about from ancient Kemet to the present. Some of you still believe Jesus was white, right? When you know the history of your people, someone can't teach you a false history, right? When you know the history of your people, you have the foundation to empower yourself. So I would encourage all the brothers here, and sometimes you don't know the resources to go to, so we can point you in the right direction. You have to know the history of your people.
Thank you for sharing that. Yep. We're gonna wrap up with one more question, which you made an excellent. You alluded to earlier is what keeps you grounded when things get tough, because that will happen. We got a few on that, but
the last thing you asked before we got everybody else went off brother who went to jail. And to everybody in the room, we need to take from our past the knowledge to move forward. I grew up in a song, today's the first day of the rest of your life. The brother in the back who went to jail, guess what? You are gifted by that experience. It's not a negative. It's a knowledge and experience that makes you different from anybody else. And that strength makes you you. We all make a mistake. We all have things go bad. Take your mistakes, learn from it, and move forward as a stepping stone. Because every one of us will I don't want to use a bad word. Every one of us will F up. We will do something wrong. Own it, take it, learn from it, and build on it going forward. That's all. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. One quick comment on what keeps you grounded. We'll do it popcorn style. What keeps you grounded when things get tough? And we'll close on that note. What keeps you grounded? I'm not even going to pass the mic. We could just shout it out. What keeps you grounded when things get tough? What's that? Prayer meditation. All right. Prayer meditation. Prayer meditation. That's it. I love that. Has this been fruitful, productive, valuable? Is this a good use of your time for this evening? Awesome. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Antoine to close this out. Is that right?
Yes. Soon enough, yeah.
Ish. So I think they have one more thing that they want to do. But thank you all for your time. It's been a pleasure being with you all. And let's keep it going. Yes.
They talk about reported speech.
30 seconds.
Yeah, reported speech. The rule that I follow is I never, and I encourage my children and my family, never go by what somebody else say, right? If the person didn't say it to you, it's not your job to report it. So you know your sister come and says, your auntie said this. You go and tell my aunt, she needs to call me. And that's a rule that I follow.
I love it. Principles. And that's what keeps you grounded. I love it. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Once again, everybody just give a round of applause for yourself for this evening coming out. So just sharing a little bit about what we do. What you're sitting in right now is just one of our larger sessions to, just to give or take. For something that we have weekly. Weekly we have virtual sessions, and once a month we are actually in the same studio, Cap Village, and we're having those heartful moments with our peers and with just other men and other fathers. Just to add on to that, Eddie and I, we also go into Tomoka Correctional Facility two times throughout the month. Sometimes we try to go in there a little more, and we have those sessions with the inmates that's getting ready to be released in about 6 months or a little bit more. So we have those sessions. But right now, I just want to honor two of the men that have completed the actual fatherhood parenting class and the fatherhood parenting courses. So first calling up Terrence Jones. So Terrence has been one of our fathers that has been in the program from the start, and Terrence has made tremendous strides in everything that he's doing. So everybody give a round of applause for Terrence. Next one is Kyle Woodbury. Kyle was in here. Did Kyle leave at all? Kyle Woodbury. Kyle, if you don't mind as well, I just want you to share a very brief, your story, because Kyle is a walk-in testimony.
No pun intended. So, back in April, I was in a car accident. They hit me so bad, I don't even remember the accident even happening. And I woke up 4.5 hours later. There you go. Hey man, we're either gonna take your foot or you're gonna try to keep it.
No, don't skip over. They declared him dead on the side of the road.
Yeah. When they got there, I was dead. Like they told me they had to bring me back to life. So they brought me back to life, got me to the hospital. I was able to keep my foot because I'm a skateboarder. You ain't taking my foot. and today was the last day I went to the doctors, and he goes, "You're all good." No more doctor's visits. Now to top it all off, they told me, they said, oh, you know, it's going to be about a year before you're able to really do anything. Now, I've been walking about a month. For me to be down for 6 months and now walking,
Yes, sir.
you don't see that anywhere else. They told me that it's a miracle I'm even still alive. So I'm here to be, you know, a great dad to my son. He's 3. And these guys right here, trust me, if they could tell you the stories that I've told them, Terrence will even tell you, because I've called him on a few occasions too. I've been going through it, but yet here I am. I'm keep on moving.
Thank you, Kyle. So those are the 2 gentlemen that have completed our course, and just to give you some information, once you complete our class for 12 weeks, you know, we do give you a certificate, we do give you something that you can show, but it never ends. So these sessions will continue to go on weekly, and we're just always here for you guys, and we're always a resource. I want to give out 2 more awards and, you know, a certificate of transformation. These gentlemen have been in our program from the start, and when we were with them from day 1 to where they are now,
Yes.
I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna, Israel Torres, can you come up here? We just want to award you with your certificate of transformation, because you have shown tremendous growth, and we definitely see it, and we appreciate it for it. And then also, we'll take a picture.
We'll take pictures.
And then also, definitely want to give this certificate of transformation to Kiefer Bell. Kiefer, please come up here. Everybody, please give a round of applause for Kiefer.
This is my proud dad moment. I ain't gonna hold you. This is great because, alright, look, so I mean, they see improvement. I still feel like I need mad help. So like, I just be going to all the classes even after I pass. So like, we're gonna figure it out. But I do appreciate them for having faith in me and for speaking to me and for giving me guidance and for being receptive to my troubles and not judging me. And it got me spiffy too, because they dressed me. I didn't dress myself. So don't shoot me. Hold on.
So, thank you, gentlemen. And I know she's gonna get upset at me for doing this, but this all could not be possible without our CEO and founder, Brandy Hanna. So, Brandy, please make your way up here. And everybody it needs to be a lot louder than that for Brandy, because Brandy is the one who made this all possible. So, Brandy, I'm gonna leave it to Brandy to, you know, share some more about just Cornerstone in general, and a lot of the programs that we do have that provides resources to everyone in the community, and just so much that we do. So, Brandy, you go hate me for it tomorrow. It's all right.
I'll get you. I'm truly honestly just overjoyed, really lack of words, just for seeing this. You know, you have dreams, you have purpose, and for what I'm seeing tonight, like seeing something come to fruition that was an idea just has me overjoyed. Sometimes I tell people, I'm like, Cornerstone Connections, as you know, an organization has only been around for 5 years. But for 5 years, I look at some organizations that's been around 20, 30 years and have not had the impact. So I am truly just grateful and honored to be chosen to be a part of this. And I thank you all for being here tonight. Cornerstone Connections, we have a number of different programs. This is I think we launched this back in April. So this is our latest program. We're here in Orange County, but this actually also covers Osceola, Lake, Sumter, Volusia, and Putnam County. I mean, this program goes far. We have another program Connecting Hope. Hope is an acronym for healing, opportunity, perseverance, and empowerment. That is a program where we work with individuals that have child support obligations. Those who are unemployed, underemployed, need to get a job, we work with you. And then we have it where we're kind of transitioning those who are fathers. That actually is open to men or women who have child support obligations. We have another program, our community clothing closet. Absolutely free clothing for men, women, and children. We get referrals from Red Cross. We get referrals from Goodwill. We get referrals from DCF all across, and again, something that was an idea, and to see all of this come to fruition is just really just heartwarming. Leaves me at a lack of words. I have to give kudos to my team here tonight. Antoine, program manager, doing an amazing job. Got to give it up for Eddie. Thanks. Absolutely, absolutely. Got to give it up for Anna, back here in the back. She is like, I got to call her the glue, you know, but really, and I have a team, probably 16, 17 people total on my team across all of our programs. Again, everyone knows I actually don't do this to be like, Brandy's out front. Yeah, I would sit back there, quite honestly, because my heart is really to change lives, to see the work done in the people, to see the work done in the community. That's where I'm good at. So with that, we absolutely want to say thank you for coming out tonight. You will hear more from us. And again, give yourselves a round of applause again for coming out. And thank you so much to Sean Welcome for his amazing hosting. I mean, absolutely. The words of, you know, your poetry, absolutely, but just carrying the conversation. And Sean and I worked together years ago, and to see where you are going and where you are, just super, super proud. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting as well. So, yes. So, and I have to give one more thank you to Cap Village. Thank you, Gwinnett and your staff. Thank you so much. I mean, you really have opened the door and you welcome us in. Every time I see you and your staff, everyone is like just so welcoming. So thank you so much. Thank you to all of you all. Again, you'll hear from us again, and just keep in touch with what we're doing. We have a gift for everyone that is here tonight, so we want to make sure that you get that. And did I get anything else? That is it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much again. Have a good night. God bless.